to another episode of the More Than Sunday podcast. I'm here with Ed.
Hello everyone.
We are here on episode 14.
14. Oh my gosh, dude. 14.
Yes, dude, we made it. We're almost at 15.
Almost at 15.
We're so happy
Dude, we're
because
pumping, man.
we just hit 100 subs
Dude, if
on
you're
YouTube.
if you're a new subscriber, smash
Yes.
the like button.
Yes,
and
do
leave
it.
a comment.
Yes,
Dude, it's
do
popping
all
off
that.
on YouTube, man.
Yeah, it's popping off, dude. We got some shorts. We post the shorts,
Yeah.
and those clips are actually doing really well as well.
man.
People reaching people for Jesus, and so
Yeah.
it's doing a really good job.
Yes.
And it's been great. How's your week been so far, Ed?
Man, it's been good. It's been good.
Been good?
You know, it has been good. You know, I have been. I was affected by the recent hail we had. Last
yes,
week. So
yes.
hey, shout out to the nature.
That was rough.
Shout out to those people who control the weather. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Sound cleaning. No, wait. Cloud seeding.
Shout out to
cloud seeding. Yeah.
Yo, thanks for the rain, but can it not be hail next time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because then we all got, not all of us have insurance, including me. So can you please just hold back
chill.
on that?
Yeah. They're out of windscreens. They're out of windscreens right now. So
dude.
I've still got a big crack in on my windscreen. So
I think the last episode we had to rush off because the hail was coming.
Yeah.
And so then we took off, and then I think that's when it got hit. Yeah. Or the next day or something. Yeah. But that was a rough week. It was like 3 days in a row where we just all got smashed. Pastor Sean had to fix his roof tiles.
He had to fix his roof.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, they both. See, the good thing was, for me it was good, but we were at Garden City with the young adults.
Yep.
And all the young adults there, we all had our cars underneath. And so Chelsea and I didn't get affected.
Amen.
But then we're getting phone calls and text messages, the staff group chats popping off, and everyone's saying, dude, look at the hail. And we were just like, it's not even raining in Garden City, but we weren't affected. But yeah, praying for everybody who was affected by the recent storms. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you.
Yeah.
But it got bad for some of us. And so we're just hoping that everything gets fixed up, right?
Yes.
Hopefully get some new windscreens.
Yeah, I mean, we've been popping up with episodes. I think we've been consistent for like 4-5 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, we've been going well.
Yeah.
I think the good thing is, we got Christmas coming up, obviously, so we're going to plan around that, but we're still going to be consistent over Christmas, and we're still going to make sure we got episodes coming out, and Ed's always cooking in the studio. And
I mean, all your ministries are like concluded now, right?
Yeah,
like
so
we had youth formal last week.
Yeah, youth formal last week. We got our youth volunteers dinner tonight. We're going out, and then I think we had young adults. We had a young adults breakup
couple of weeks ago.
Couple of weeks ago, we were all there for that as well, and it's been great. Yeah, we've still got young adults like every Sunday night, but that's just fun. You know, that's not like it's anything special, but everything's pretty much wrapping up. You know, I stay away from December. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I stay away from December. I've learned I've been a youth pastor now this is coming my 4th year in 2026. So, but before that, I've been working at the church for another, I think it was like 3 years before that. Yeah. So all up, I've been working at church for like nearly 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
And 6, 7. But nearly 7 years. Yeah. And what I've learned is stay away from December.
Oh yeah.
Don't try and do anything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Don't plan anything.
Don't plan anything in the month of December,
because
away. Obviously youth and young adults always like a big event. It's not like you can do small events with youth and young adults. Yeah. But, stay away from December. Don't disrupt it. Same with women's conference.
Oh yeah.
I stay away from women's conference. If I go to, because all the boys, we still go out at youth, I'm just like, let's go out somewhere else. Let's not do it at church. We get away from the women because, not because they're not bad people, but we just don't want to get in their way. Okay. Yeah. Because once you get in their way, it's over.
It's over. You're done.
So same with Christmas. Yeah. On the couch, in the doghouse. But December, we're just fully out, and we're excited for, last week we spoke about that, right?
Like 2026. It was 2026 goals.
A lot of plans. Can't wait to see what God does. Wins and losses. But they're never losses, right? They're always just learning curves.
From them,
yeah. So it's great. But we got some topics for today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. We haven't talked on like news in a while.
Yeah, so we haven't done that.
Like months. I don't know, almost 10 episodes.
Yeah, because we've just been we got obviously some guests coming in. We had some specific topics that we wanted to speak about, and it's been great as well. But we're going to get back into the topics and what's happening in the world right now.
Yes.
And touching on those and seeing what we can speak about, and maybe not just share our opinion, but maybe we could bring the word of God into it and see what the word can.
Because he's not on social media right now.
Yeah.
So this is the update Jake mostly.
So I've given myself a month off. off of doom scrolling and just brain rot. Because like everyone, I waste time on there. Like sometimes I find myself just scrolling, especially in the arvos when I'm not working or I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I just doom scroll, dude. And
would you say some joke?
Yeah, it's bad. So I just got off of it. I'm just I'm done with all because look, at the end of the day, you got to watch what you're consuming.
Yes.
And I preach that.
Yep.
And I'm quite good at making sure I'm not.
Yes.
But something that I've noticed is that sometimes being on social media too much can just do that. So just give myself a month off for the holidays. Yeah. December. I'm not on it and I'm just going to stay away from it. Obviously, I still, if you need to communicate with me, whatever, it's just my phone number or you can contact the young adults page or the youth page and I can answer you through that. And, or, my wife will pass it on to me. And, but obviously, my phone, messenger I still got. But I just give myself a break because you just got to watch what you consume and
100%.
make sure, give yourself a bit of a reset. But I'll be back on it January 1st because obviously my job is basically dealing with a lot of social media stuff. So,
maybe not so much going into our first story.
Yes. Great transition. Perfect transition. Yeah. So let's get to it. The social media ban. Okay. Australia has been hit with it. Okay. I don't think any other country has it. Do you know if any other country has it?
I mean, other countries have kind of loosely talked about it, or instead of banning a total social media, it'll be specific things.
Yeah.
Russia will ban certain American platforms. Yeah. I mean, the version
China
of TikTok,
is big on that. Obviously.
The version of TikTok that we have isn't what China has.
Yeah.
They don't even have the same Google as us or anything like that. They have their own alternatives.
And then last year, or maybe the start of this year, Trump had the negotiations with TikTok.
Yeah, to buy out TikTok.
And then also they just wanted to get rid of it and they wanted to ban it at one point. Yeah. Because it's influenced from China.
Yeah.
But so there's been speaking about it, but Australia have really just implemented it. And so I think it's next week or something?
Yes, by the time you're watching this, I think it'll be 1 or 2 days.
In effect,
yeah.
Wow. So the reason why it affects, it does affect the youth ministries. And it actually, I'm actually interested to see what happens. I know that, social media is a big thing within youth ministries. The youth ministries that do use it, a lot of youth ministries can grow without it. Obviously, our main focus as a youth ministry is in person.
Yes.
And so we want to minister to teenagers in person. But we also have got social media. We have got Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And so we do like to communicate through those platforms. And in a lot of our promotion of events or promotion of nights that are happening is all through that. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it affects. I don't know if we have to, because we do have group chats through Instagram. So I don't know if we have to try and figure out another way of group chats. I don't know. Maybe we could do it through WhatsApp or something, but go back old school.
Crazy,
but I don't know. There's got to be ways that we can figure it out how to communicate.
An email mailing list.
Mailing list, to their school emails, edu.au.
So old.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to have to do, but I mean, look, we'll figure it out.
Newsletter.
Newsletter. I don't know. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, very different.
It's going to be different. Bulletin or something. Notice board at the church or something.
For youth.
For youth. It's so weird. It's going to be weird. But I guess, I think what it's going to do, I think it's going to really empower words of mouth.
Yes, 100%.
It's going to go back to words of mouth when it comes specifically to youth ministries.
In person as well,
In person and just making it work. But so let's go into it.
Let's go through the article,
Yeah, what is Australia's, this article's from The Guardian. Let's get into what it actually is. Now, so what is Australia's social media ban? When does it start? So from the 10th of December, platforms the Australian government has deemed to be included. So the government's, deeming them to be included. It's they're making the decision ultimately what social media platforms. So they'll deactivate all accounts for users under 16 and prevent those users from holding an account until after they turn 16.
Yeah, so they're not deleting it, they're just deactivating it until they're 16.
Until they're 16. Yeah. So the e-safety commissioner must be satisfied the platforms have taken reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from holding an account on the platform, or they will face a fine of up to $49.5 million. That is crazy.
Yeah, so it's the platform banning, not the government banning account.
Okay,
so it's on the it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram to police it, not the government.
And I think that's actually that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, the platforms mustn't be happy.
Nah, no way.
They wouldn't be happy with
They're
this.
losing like a major part of their base.
Yeah, especially in Australia. Like, man, there's probably so many connected in Australia.
Oh, dude, TikTok, man. Like all the Australian TikTokers are probably like...
Yeah, they're going to be struggling.
Struggling. People who do, Instagram.
Because you will see numbers drop. Like, you will see... Obviously, revenue drop. You'll see views and interaction engagement. You'll see all that drop, and it's going to be interesting. The people who do make money as influencers on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, like they're going to be, they're going to feel it.
Yeah,
like it's going to affect them. So, I think I think it's going to affect the teenagers.
Yes,
So the social media platforms and apps that are getting banned for under 16. So you got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Snapchat's the biggest one for me. Actually, being a youth pastor. Not like I don't use it, but as in all the teenagers use it. Like
I can't believe that, man. When I was a teenager,
it's been around so long.
I know about Snapchat. Like I used to use it.
Yeah.
But like I can't believe it's still around.
Yeah, it's still, and it's probably the most common one, bro.
That's crazy.
Like so, like you just constantly hear Snapchat notifications
Streaks,
go off in youth meetings or whatever. Like streaks, and they're massive on it. And like, I was speaking to a youth teenager the other day. Yeah. And I was in a group of other youth teenagers, and all the other ones were all over 16. One of them wasn't. Yeah. And they were like, man, they were a bit emotional because they couldn't.
Because of
they're going to get banned. It's going to affect mostly Snapchat. Like
crazy.
And so it's a big one, man. And it's a big move from the Australian government. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into it. So Snapchat, X, YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, Kick, Threads. Threads is also covered as an Instagram account. Yeah. So it's required to use the app. So they're connected. The government has said this is a dynamic list. So other platforms could be added to it at a later stage. So for example, Kids Flee to One after the ban is in effect and it raises similar concerns. So that's also another thing. Yeah. So it's like, let's say that, all these 14, 15-year-olds, they lose their Instagram, Snapchat, they jump on WhatsApp, Discord, I don't know, like different stuff, Messenger, LinkedIn or whatever it is. I doubt LinkedIn, but, like they're all just business professionals.
Dude, I got radicalized on LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
But imagine that.
Yeah, imagine, bro. Like, I don't even know what Lemonade is. I don't know what GitHub is.
Lemonade is meant to be TikTok's alternative to if TikTok was going to get banned in America.
Yeah. Lemonade was going to.
Lemonade was going to be the replacement.
And are they still running?
It's still an app. Yeah.
Wow.
So if the switch randomly gets turned off on TikTok in America,
they're just back. They're ready to go.
Push out Lemonade fully.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So then Lego Play, like. If they jump on any of these and just bucket load of it, and then they start seeing some bad things happen.
Well, those are the apps that aren't going to get banned. I guess that's what we're going through next.
Yeah,
right?
So they're the ones that aren't getting banned. Yeah. So, Roblox, Pinterest, YouTube Kids, Discord, WhatsApp, Lemonade, GitHub, Lego Play, streaming, Steam Chat, I don't know, Google Classroom, Messenger, LinkedIn. So these aren't getting banned.
I find it's like, okay, so my Facebook, I can't use my Facebook account, but I can still use Messenger.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Because that's similar to Threads and Instagram.
Yeah, Threads and Instagram.
So why is that not... Yeah, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Facebook, that's a win for them because they're probably trying not to lose the impact of Messenger because Messenger's big, especially in Australia. I don't know about other countries.
Yeah, and their Meta AI trains off Messenger.
Yeah, exactly. So
it does.
That's a big win for Facebook compared to the other companies. If I'm looking at it from a business perspective, they've got a win there. At least they've taken a big L with the loss of their social media, but that's a big win.
Personally, I do find it odd that something like Roblox, which we'll go into a bit further.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But like Discord, Steam, I get that Steam is like a storefront first, and then it has community aspects. Okay, so maybe like it's not as bad. Yeah. But even something like Discord, that it's basically social media.
Yeah.
Like people group up in these public Discords that you can just join freely.
Yeah.
And like I mean, there's been instances of, I'll say alleged grooming on Discord. Like you can look it up.
Yes. Yeah. Look it up.
Like, I couldn't believe that. Like, Discord's fine, but like Kick of all places is banned for kids. Like, I mean, probably shouldn't be watching Kick streams, but like it's Twitch weird. And Kick, but like Discord's allowed through. Like you can watch live streams on Discord. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. You can. It's so weird. I wouldn't be surprised if the list changes.
Oh, I reckon it will.
Yeah, I think they'll probably end up starting to add Discord because I think Discord's going to be the first one that they all jump onto.
Yeah.
Discord and maybe WhatsApp as well.
Yes.
I think there's going to be a big jump from there to there. But even then, like WhatsApp, you know, what are some of these companies going to do? Like, so for me, what I see happening is I see some of these companies that aren't banned. Yeah. They start adding new features to their app. So all of a sudden Pinterest has stories.
Yeah.
Or Pinterest has some sort of chat.
Like chat function.
They already do, but they boost it a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, Messenger, you know, I think we already have stories on Messenger. So like Messenger, does that just, they eventually add that?
Just like add posts, like public posts.
So them saying already that it's a dynamic list, I think it's just going to change a little bit.
Bring back MySpace.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring it back, bro. Bring it back. Bring back the list or whatever they used to have on there. Yeah. But like, you know, the other thing is, okay, so the e-safety commissioner.
Do you want to go into the Roblox thing?
Yeah,
so Roblox was one of the things that isn't being banned. And personally, I have a major concern with that. So Roblox not being banned is wild because if you look up Roblox child safety and you will find plenty of articles of alleged grooming of children in Roblox. And this is, many YouTubers have documented this.
Yes.
So I have a clip of the CEO of Roblox. He was being interviewed on the grooming, the child safety issues that are currently being happening. And like, it sounds insane.
It's ridiculous.
You might disassociate for a moment. Like, so we'll listen into that.
You have joined us today to talk about this new age gating policy that Roblox is rolling out to protect kids. And I think we should start by just talking about the scope of the problem here. What has led you to this point? And how do you think of the problem of predators on Roblox?
We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of community?
Dude, that is crazy. How can we turn our predator problem into an economic opportunity?
Yeah.
What's the exact, not as a problem, but as an opportunity as well? That is like insane. How can we profit from these pedos?
Yes.
That's disgusting.
It's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
That is horrible.
It is.
Bro, when this ban goes live, if Roblox isn't added to this list, I'm going to be emailing my local representative and say, can you, and I'll send them like all the links, like this is all the video, this is all the proof, these all the documentation of people finding like these groomers. Can you please add Roblox to this list? Because like it's terrible.
So the main reason this whole social media ban came in is because of this, right?
Like grooming,
child
bullying,
safety,
like, you know, all the suicide that's been happening.
The suicide, cyberbullying, stuff like this. And there's a dark, I haven't watched it. I've seen a few clips. There's a podcast in America that have covered this topic of the dark web and things that can happen. And Discord is one of the, Roblox is one of the leading, like,
it's bad
platforms.
Don't get your kid
of this stuff.
Get your kids off Roblox.
Like, I'm talking cults, bro. I'm talking internet cults who will force kids on live stream or video, everything, to kill themselves, to do terrible acts.
Allegedly. Protect ourselves.
But there is people fighting this in America. And I don't know if they're also fighting in Australia. I don't think it's as bad as in Australia than what is in America, but there is these things happening.
Yes.
I would say that it's very worrying that the CEO comes out like this. Now, the job of a CEO, I don't despise.
Yeah.
But as someone who runs 2 ministries, nowhere near the scale of Roblox and running a big business like this. But what I will say is you are a leader. And so as a leader, you set the standard. As a leader, you're held accountable. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So this guy, this CEO, David, whatever his last name is, man, you got to get your wording right. Now,
dude.
The way he said this quote is terrible because straight away reactions like Ed and like myself is, so you're going to use this as an opportunity. What do you mean by opportunity?
What?
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you mean as an opportunity to profit off predators, child predators and child predator rings? And dude, there's full on organized criminal, terrible things that these people do.
Yeah.
Evil. So like, are you going to profit off that, or are you using it as an opportunity, which I don't know if he means it like this. I might be putting words out and it could be completely incorrect, which sounds like it is, to be honest. But, you know, are you using it as an opportunity to maybe navigate it or to stop it or whatever? But he didn't say that.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything we want to use this as an opportunity to stop this.
Yeah.
He said, I want to use the opportunity to help communication. So how, like, it doesn't make, so for me, Roblox need to figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, you have to figure out, instead of using it as an opportunity for innovation, use it as an opportunity for justice, use it as an opportunity to protect children.
Yeah.
But it's not about, you know, innovation. That's the words that, if you watch the full clip, he's talking about innovation of technology, things that we can do to make sure age whatever. That's like, bro, like, that's not what this is. It's an opportunity for you to stop child predators.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for your platform, Roblox, to become a safe place where children can play video games and hang out and a little bit of community, whatever it is. Like, I know that there's plenty of young kids who play Roblox.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
And not just in youth ministry, in like children, you know, and whether or not it's good or bad, it is a place where some of them feel safe. They don't have friends in real life, and so they go to Roblox. And the problem is that there's people taking advantage of that. And honestly, I think Roblox need to be added to the list, in my opinion. This 100%. Is my opinion. They need to be on the list.
Yeah.
But if they're not on the list, then I don't know. The government's got involved, and I know they're leaving it to the companies.
Yeah.
But surely they can come in and say, okay, if we're going to leave you on the list of like not being banned, then can you put some restrictions in place? Can you? And I know they're talking about age gate, but some real restrictions of like, dude, anyone over the age of 16, you can't play Roblox.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, you know, to put some restrictions in. This is a kids only platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, have separate, like, how does YouTube and YouTube Kids?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Roblox Kids, Roblox
that's perfect.
Adults.
Perfect. I think they need to do that.
I should be CEO.
Yeah. Give Ed the job. I think that should be done. I just don't think it's okay. And so let's go into age verification.
Yes.
Then, right?
This is interesting.
Because that's something as well to talk about, because if this social media is going to, how are you going to do it? Like, how's they going to implement it? All this stuff. So, it's up to the platform to decide ultimately, right? So the one requirement from the government is that the requesting ID cannot be the only form of age. Yeah. So the Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, would not disclose how it plans to determine which users it to understands to be under 16. Arguably, it would be potentially alert teens on how to avoid the ban. Oh, so I know what they're trying to say. Yeah. So basically, Meta don't want to release how they're going to do it because, like I did when I was 15 on Facebook, you lie about your age.
You get around it,
You lie about your age. You get around it. So, and it's always been a thing. Like Facebook have always had this in place. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They might have stopped it eventually. But when I was younger, you couldn't join Facebook. I think it was like 18 or
something like
a certain age or whatever. I forgot what age it was. But so if they release that, I understand there's people are going to jump over it. But then, you know, the other it's all up to the platform, which I think is a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the company because then they have some win on this because they're going to be definitely taking a hit from this.
Yeah. It's not like the UK where they had to hand over their
digital identity,
their actual like license just to be able to access certain sites.
Yeah. So it's not that extreme. So I don't know how it's going to work. Like I can't tell the future, obviously. Yeah. Only God knows. But it's an opportunity for two things: for kids to clean up their act on social media, and so we can sort of, you know, and we're talking off air, but you know, it's sort of like parents should have already done this, but now the government's had to step in.
Yeah, now the government's had to step in. Like, look, sure, I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, I wouldn't be letting my kids like anywhere near Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, any of these social platforms, unless I could see what they were doing.
Yeah.
And even then, like if they were on Instagram, it would be like a lockdown account, family, and like close friends, like Like that's it. Like,
honestly.
No messaging strangers. No. Like I'd want to check it.
Yep.
Like it'd be very like, if you really want to use this, like, and under my house, like
something that I've learned as well, and for Shiloh and the one on the way is, so you always have this excuse amongst parents. You don't want your kid to be weird.
Oh yeah.
Like, right? The people say that. And they're like, you know, you don't want your kid to be weird. You know, like, they don't have any social, well, I don't know, whatever they say. It's like, have you seen Normal?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, have you seen Normal?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want my kids to be their mind, their heart. You know, we always joke about it, but the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Like, it's true. Like, my wife always uses that one. It's true. Like, what they see, what they hear, what they interact with influences them in some way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's all influence. And I think, so yeah, like, I'm going to be strict. Yeah, no, you can't do it until you're 18. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, people are going to call you weird, but I don't want you to be normal, because look at Normal.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'd rather you be weird for Christ. Yes. I'd rather you be weird for Jesus. Yeah. And I'd rather you guard your heart. The Bible says in Proverbs to guard your heart above all else. You know, and we know that our heart can be deceitful. It can be deceived. It can be hurt. It can be manipulated. Our emotions can play with us, but we guard our heart because we're guarding our emotions. We're guarding what we're letting in so that it doesn't affect what comes out.
Yeah.
And so I think parents, you know, and look, I'm a young parent, you know, so I can't speak on people who have kids who are teenagers and stuff like that. But what I will say is that, you know, this is an opportunity for good or bad. And I think it's going to be used for both. Like, the enemy will counterfeit and will try and use things for bad. But I think this is also can be used for good, even though I'm a youth pastor and I love the fact that I can communicate and I can post things and, you know, the young people can see it and we can promote events and stuff like that. I love that. But at the same time, I understand that it is something that is affecting the young people at large.
Yeah.
And so maybe this could be an opportunity for them to get outside a bit more, for them to stop, you know, being filled up with all these bad things.
Yeah.
But for the most part, parents should have already started doing this.
Yeah.
My mum and dad, well, see, when I was younger, you know, social media was fresh.
Yeah.
So there was no warnings out there.
Yeah.
But see, today there's so much warnings out there. There's so much material out there, like telling you this is how you should use social media.
Yeah.
Problem is that so many parents are ignoring it.
Yeah.
And so now the government steps in Australia and they're putting these restrictions in place. Now you can get into conspiracies of control and you can get into conspiracies of all these different things. But for the most part, the most important thing is that, look, God can use this for good. And so we got to look for that.
I mean, what was that thing? I sent you something recently about how the mental health survey that Facebook did.
Oh, yes.
Dude.
Yes.
So,
can we get, let's do that.
Let me just quickly, okay. So,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So what happened was, there was Meta shut down an internal research into how mental health affects Facebook after finding casual evidence that its products harmed users' mental health, according to an unredacted findings in a lawsuit by a US school district against Meta. In a 2020 research project coded Project Mercury, Meta scientists worked with a survey firm, Nelson, to gauge the effect of deactivating Facebook, according to Meta documents obtained via Discovery. To the company's disappointment, people who stopped using Facebook for a week reported lower feelings of depression, anxiety, loneliness, and social comparison, internal documents said. This is an internal Facebook report found that not using their product made their life better.
It's criminal. It's criminal, bro. Look, and we just spoke about I'm having a month off.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't depressed or anxious or suicidal, but I was getting frustrated with the world around me because of what I was seeing on social media.
Yeah.
And so I had to fix myself and say, I can't let this affect the way I look at people, because ultimately I got to love people, love God, love people. Yeah. And so that's why I've done it. And also just, I don't know, got to get off the brain rot.
Yeah.
But so already I've seen a change. Imagine the people who were struggling with depression, with anxiety, with dark feelings, right? So, and the fact that Meta have covered this up is criminal. But it's like, this has just got out. Imagine all the other things. And I think businesses, especially big companies like Meta and Facebook, and I mean, Meta's sort of running it all, but Meta and Google and all these different things, like there's always going to be something that they're covering up. And basically what Meta have done, have gone and said, you know what, crap, look at all this stuff that's come out. Let's just put this on the down low, because if we let this out, we're going to lose so much money. They're cooked. So there's, I mean, people have tested and sort of challenged Facebook and in the past about this. But man, it's just becoming more and more evident, I think. And it's not gonna, see, social media can be used for good, and I like to use it for the good. I like to consume the good, and you know, the learning and the sharpening and all the things you can do on social media for the good and for God. But then you always have the bad, and that's with everything. You drink too much water, you're going to drown. You know, you
eat too much food, you're going to
die. You know what I mean? Like, so either way, you know, there's always going to be an imbalance. But we just have to make sure we get the balance, like everything. And I think the funny thing is that as humans, we're still trying to get the balance of social media,
which is crazy.
Which is crazy. It's been a long time now. But at the same time, it hasn't been that long in the grand scheme of things. So we're still learning as a society, and we're still trying to learn how to deal with these things. Now, New South Wales Libertarian MP, he's challenged it on the grounds of freedom of political communication. The case is yet to be heard. A committee investigating age assurance recommended a delay in the legislation by 6 months to June 2026. But the Labor senators on the committee disagreed with the Greens-led report, and the Prime Minister and the Communications Minister have shown no signs of wavering ahead of the launch date. So they're going ahead with this.
This is
and there's been a few different people who've tried to sort of challenge it. Look, I understand why they're trying to challenge it. I do understand. I'm not going to get political, but I do understand why they're trying to challenge it. But for the most part, well, then if we're going to challenge stuff like this and say we don't want it, well, then maybe we should have already started to do something.
Something
to stop this. And we haven't seen much of an effort. So, you know, the government stepped in, and look, I think like I said, it can be good and bad.
Look, if you want to rely on the government to fix your problems, they're going to fix it, and you might not like the results. So it's just like, you know, if you don't want to police what your kids are looking on their phone, their socials, then the government's going to do it, and you might not like it.
And only time will tell. And we can have hope in Christ and know that God's in control. There's a scripture in Romans, I believe, or in Timothy, and Paul says that, look, respect and love and pray for the people in authority over you. And it says this, because they've been placed in authority from God. So, you know, whether or not you believe that's for context or whatever, in my opinion, I believe it. I believe that God's in control ultimately. And yes, some people might get in position because of things that they've done evilly and it's bad. But then for the most part, I think God uses them for good. And so we have to trust in that and have hope. But let's get on to the next topic. Okay?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we've covered this one before.
We have covered this before, and we don't give updates on it because there's no good news.
There's no good news.
There's no good updates, sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
So here's another sad update.
Yeah. So obviously, update from Nigeria. Now, it's actually getting more and more popular. Since I think when we covered it, wasn't sort of that popular. Now it's becoming much more mainstream.
More people are talking about it.
More people are talking about it. Celebrities are coming out in support, even secular. Like it's not just a Christian thing. So there's obviously a lot of persecution within Nigeria. Specifically, we can read this story as an article about an Anglican priest who dies in captivity in Nigeria. So he was kidnapped. The sad part is that I'm pretty sure his kids and his wife are also still in captivity.
Yeah, they're still in captivity,
and so 28th of November, which is my birthday, which sucks. Amid a rash mass of kidnappings in Nigeria, an Anglican priest in Nigeria abducted along with his wife and daughter has died in captivity. Also, his wife and daughter also died. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Leaders of the church in Nigeria, Anglican Communion, announced on Wednesday. The Reverend Edwin Achi was kidnapped on October 28th along with his wife, Sarah Achi, and daughter from Nisi village. So church leaders did not say how he died, but the assailants had demanded a ransom of 600 million naira, which is 450,000 USD. 415,000 USD. He was kidnapped alongside his wife and has been confirmed dead. So this is just sad. This is terrible. So they're kidnapped. The kidnappers demanded a ransom. The incident is part of a larger wave of mass kidnappings across Nigeria. Recent attacks included the abduction of students near Niger State and worshippers in Kwara State.
Yeah.
Kwara State, whatever it is. I'm white. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
In response to the crisis, Nigerian president has declared a national emergency and ordered the recruitment of 20,000 additional police officers to bolster security. The violence is attributed to various groups, including Islamic extremist groups, Fulani militias, and criminal gangs. Many kidnappings are financially motivated, and there is a clear pattern of targeting Christian communities. This has been happening for a while, like we said.
Very long time.
I think it was one of the first topics that we covered on our podcast.
Yes.
There needs to be some sort of help from other governments into Nigeria.
Yeah.
We need to figure it out. And I'm believing and I'm praying for outside governments like America, like hopefully Australia. I don't think they will, but maybe.
And even the surrounding states of Africa. Come together.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of move. And look, North Africa, which I think Nigeria is Northern Africa. I think it might not be. I might be wrong. But Nigeria, Africa in general, it's a lot of half-half.
Yeah.
So you've got Northern Africa's majority Muslim, and then South Africa you have a lot of Christians. It's sort of 50-50. You got, even in North Africa, I think it's like 50-50 as well. So, but it's growing population of Islamic extremists in Africa, and Nigeria is just being pumped by it, and it's very, very sad. I think that, and even here is a statistic that it's one of the most dangerous places in the world for Christians.
Yeah.
So I just think that we need to pray for Nigeria, and everyone's saying it, I know. But there needs to be some real interference.
Yeah.
I think that, outside governments need to just step in and just do something. I think Trump said something, he wants to do something or he wants to help out in some way. But there needs to be a coming together of Christians, not just Christians, of people and humans, because they're starting to call it genocide now.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think it's getting to that point. Like, they're just wiping out whole villages. There was a few clips on social media. It doesn't show anything too bad, but there was a few clips of just, you can see people running and stuff like that, where they're just obviously just mass killings and stuff like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And like the Nigerian president, I don't know too much about him. I don't know if he's involved in I don't know if he's Muslim or I don't know what he is, but I'm sure he can step in and help out some way. But it's very, very sad. Yeah. It's very sad. It's not a very good topic to cover, but it's just to highlight the fact that we've got it really good over here.
Yeah, we got it really good.
We've got it really good as Christians and as believers. We've got it really good compared to the violence and the death and just the persecution that people are feeling across the globe, but specifically in Nigeria. It's just, it's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. And we got to pray for Nigeria just as we're praying for all these other countries in the Middle East and across the globe of war and stuff like that. We got to be praying for Nigeria because there's a war happening in Nigeria. Yeah. Arguably a more important war. When I say that, I mean spiritually. There's a spiritual war happening. It's manifesting physically, but it's a spiritual war, and the battle we face is not flesh and blood, but it's powers and principalities. So let's just pray for Nigeria, pray for the Christians in Nigeria. And it says that with the country accounting for a significant majority, 69% of Christians killed for their faith globally. Yeah. It's just, majority of that is Nigeria, and it's just so sad. So pray for Nigeria. It's never been a good place. Yeah. I think there's always been some sort of conflict. I think there's always been a lot of chaos over there. I think there's always, but they're lovely people. I've met Nigerian people, and they're very, very lovely people. Yes. So we just got to pray for Nigeria and pray that they will just have some peace over there, and there'll be less hurt, right? And meanwhile in the West, we've got pastors and stuff falling out. So,
oh my gosh,
that's a good transition.
This is going to be a big topic.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive topic. Like the next story we have here is Atlanta Megachurch pastor's ex-wife accuses him of hiring a transgender.
Oh my gosh,
prostitute. So
that's crazy.
I'm going to open this article.
That's a why. If you said to me 10 years ago hey, this is going to be a headline one day. I'd be like, nah, you crazy, bro. No way that would be a headline one day. Nah, no way. You're cooked, bro. And here it is. It's the headline.
Dude, it's happening all over the place. Yeah. Look, in my opinion, we should never let this affect the way we look at pastors globally. Majority of pastors aren't doing this. Yes. You know what I mean? But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. So there's always going to be, there's always one.
There's always bad apples.
So there's always bad apples and there's always people doing things. Now, I'm not saying that it's all alleged, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is all he's been charged or anything, or he has been.
As close as to possibly alleged as it can be.
So it's sort of confirmed. It's basically happening.
Some of the stuff at the start, which we'll go into, some of the stuff he's kind of like, at the start he was like, oh no, I didn't do that. And then later on it was also then like, oh yeah, I kind of wasn't the best. So the Royce Report did a very long covering of this, going over multiple years.
So check that out if you want to read about this. But so the allegations, let's just get into the allegations first. Okay, his name. Should I say his name? Yeah. Sam Collier, Pastor Sam Collier. His wife is named Tony Collier.
Have you heard any of his preaching?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
I know nothing about his preaching.
I've seen that he has appeared on some very well-known Christian podcasts, like Ruslan. Yes. I had him on his podcast as well. I'm pretty sure he's been around the place. He's very well connected with the Christian community.
Guy once or something.
Okay, so there you go. Wow. Joking. I love Hillsong. I love Hillsong.
I don't know nothing about this guy's preaching or any of his what his doctrine is. So we're not coming from that perspective. Yeah. This is purely about what.
Yeah. This isn't a theological, ideological. This isn't a. This is a moral.
And this isn't because he's a megachurch pastor.
Yeah, we're not just attacking. Yeah, so just chill out. Yeah. The ex-wife of Atlanta pastor at the Atlanta Sam Collier has publicly accused him of hiring a transgender prostitute in 2023. She claims the sex worker filmed Sam and attempted to extort him with the video. A police report confirmed Sam contacted authorities in 2023 regarding harassment and false stories from a transgender man who was demanding money. So that's the allegation. That his ex-wife has come out.
Yeah.
If this can highlight anything, and then we'll get to the next few things. We'll get to some context of the dispute, and we'll also get to where we are now and this whole problem. Because this happened in 2023.
Yeah.
I would say this. Pastors got to make sure we got to make sure our wives are in check. I'm a pastor myself. My number one ministry isn't here at the church.
Yeah.
My number one ministry is my home.
Yes.
In my list of my priorities, my relationship with God is first.
Yeah.
But then after that is my wife, my kids, provision, ministry.
Yeah.
So the problem is that pastors will go, my relationship with God,
which they interpret as ministry.
Which they interpret as ministry.
And
Pastor Sean is big on this. He's my pastor. He's big on this. He's still training us up in this way of whenever you preach, which I get to preach quite often. Yeah. Okay. So I preach at a youth and I preach at young adults, and I also get to preach at Sunday every now and then.
Yeah.
So for me, the opportunity for platform isn't something that I see as just an opportunity for me to get up on stage. For me, I see it as much more than that. But Pastor Sean's, and that's how he's taught us, but Pastor Sean has always taught us your devotional time is different to your sermon prep time.
Yes.
So if you're prepping for your sermon, it's different to you personal devotional time with God in God's word. And so I've always understood that as a person, and I want to continue to understand that. So there's things that I put in place so I understand that and I live that out. So I'm never, putting them all together because that's not how it's meant to be. You should never put your relationship with God and ministry in the same bubble. It's different.
Yes.
It's completely different. And so you got to get your priorities straight as ministers. And I think, I don't think when I'm saying this, I'm not attacking this man.
Yeah.
I pray for this man.
Yes.
And I pray for his wife and I pray for their family. I don't know if they have kids. I pray for their kids, man. I pray for their kids. I pray for their church.
Yes.
I pray for the congregation. I pray that he would get himself back in order, get his priorities back straight. That doesn't mean he's on platform again. That doesn't mean that he's a minister again. He might still serve in the local body some way, that's okay in my opinion. But when it comes to him, going back to where he was or whatever it might be, I don't believe he should.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that just get his priorities back in order. Dude, your relationship with God is first.
Yeah.
Your wife, your kids, your provision, and your ministry. Yeah. That's what I believe should be. And this is this whole thing is just because he's got his priorities out of order.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And this is the results of us doing that.
Yes.
Not even just as pastors, as men.
Yep.
If we lose our priorities and they get out of order and we start putting things in the wrong place, there's going to be something that's going to fall out. And in this man's life, clearly his relationship with his wife fell out, and he wasn't looking after it. He wasn't maintaining it. And as Pastor Sean says, he wasn't maintaining his lawn. He wasn't mowing his grass. He wasn't taking care of his lawn. So we got to do that. So the context of the dispute, this accusation is part of a larger public conflict between the former couple. So to me, and I saw when I read the article, you could sort of hear this, is, they're sort of having a back and forth because they're divorced.
He said, she said.
Yeah, it's he said, she said, and there's just beef happening between the two, which happens when people get divorced. This is just escalated because they have a public profile.
Our senior pastors at one point.
Exactly. Wow. Megachurch too. They've got a lot of influence.
Yeah.
So Tony has previously accused Sam of repeated acts of infidelity during their marriage, including allegations of hiring women for sexual favors and struggling with pornography. Sam initially denied infidelity, calling Tony a liar, but later admitted in an interview that he 100% made mistakes and engaged in coping mechanisms that were not God-honoring. He denies ever physically abusing Tony.
Dude, how crazy is that? Oh, no, I didn't do that. Oh,
but there was one time.
Okay, maybe I wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah,
crazy.
It is. A lack of accountability.
Be honest. If you failed, admit it and move on.
Yeah.
Heal from it, discipline, get it right, then move on.
Yeah.
It was wrong no matter what. But if when this happened, he came clean, admitted fault, took responsibility for his actions.
Yep.
He wouldn't be going through this right now.
Nah. Pastors need pastors.
Yeah, 100%.
So you could be a mega church pastor. You could be a local pastor like myself. You could be whoever. We all need pastors. Just because an ordinary person who just comes to church who isn't involved in ministry, in a certain context, doesn't mean that they don't need only they need pastors. You know what I mean? Even pastors need pastors.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anyone who's involved in ministry, make sure you're accountable to people, and you got a pastor. Yeah. But all pastors need pastors. Yes. I need my pastors. I need people who can speak. Yeah.
I need a lot.
Yeah. I need people who can speak into me.
Yeah.
That can correct me, that can pull me up.
Yeah.
I need it a lot.
Yeah.
I do. Like we all do, and we all need to be helped. We all need to do these things. Dude, this is actually a really good topic. There is this book that I had to go run and get because this book is actually a really good book. It's The Care of Souls, Cultivating a Pastor's Heart by Harold L. Senkbeil, and the foreword's by Michael Horton. So I think it's actually Christian Today's Book Awards in 2020. But so this is basically about cultivating a pastor's heart and how we're shepherds of souls and how we need to make sure that as pastors we got to it's very practical. It's got a lot of good practical points on how to actually be a pastor and the things that we should be doing, but also within ourselves and how are we checking on ourselves. So in this chapter, this is chapter 9 of the book, he talks about there's two main things that pastors, specifically people, pastors in ministry, full-time vocational ministry, suffer with.
Yeah.
And the first one is, sexual, the sexual sin.
Yeah.
They struggle with sexual sin. And let me just see the actual words that he says here. I think he just says lust, sexual sin. And then the other thing is something that is actually really cool. It's actually a clinical term for it. It's called acedia. Now, acedia means a lack of absence of care. Now, this is an ancient term.
Oh, wow.
It's an ancient term that they used in ancient times when they would people would suffer with, in a spiritual sense, which we can call it spiritual boredom, basically.
Oh, okay.
So when pastors, and I can say this confidently, I've suffered with this before.
Yeah.
Now, this is a struggle that pastors face when basically you get tired of doing good. And you start to get sort of tired of, you sort of don't see the power, the wonder working power of the Holy Spirit, you don't really see God does things around you and you sort of get numb to it. It's like, oh, this is just, I always see, this is like, it's my job. I see this happen all the time, right? So let me read some of these parts of this book. But it says this, where acedia takes root in the soul of a pastor, the flock suffers greatly. Yeah. So in my opinion, acedia sort of starts and then a bunch of sin follows.
Yeah.
So you fall into this spiritual boredom of, man, same old thing, doing all these, and I'm going to get into some warning signals of when you start to see it coming along, but you get bored of just doing the same old thing and it's just like, this is my job, this is my career. Some, especially megachurch pastors, can fall into this. They start seeing it as a corporate position. They start seeing it as a position of notoriety and fame. They start seeing themselves as less as people who are meant to influence people for Christ and just social media influencers or influencers in general, authors or motivational speakers. Yeah. And so they lose this spiritual sense of excitement and passion and drive, and they start seeing things as, differently. What happens, they fall into sin to, I guess, numb the feeling of acedia in their life, and they start to fall into pornography. They start to fall into sexual sin, like adultery, and they fall into these different things because they're struggling with this a clinical thing of acedia. Yeah. So it says this: I'm sure you'd agree that we lose our zeal for the gospel and the service of Christ's people in a matter of grave concern. It's a matter of great concern. So there's times in life, and you can feel this as normal as Christians who aren't pastors, but there's times in life where you get bored. Spiritually, you're like, man, the same old thing, doing the same thing, and you sort of go down this little thing of a little bit of a dry spell. Yeah. But then eventually you come back out of it and God just does, and you start to go hard again, and you get this zeal and this passion again. But if it's unaddressed, that kind of spiritual apathy can quickly gut our pastoral habitus and ruin our ministry. Yeah. So if we don't get onto it early and quickly, we can really fall into some great sin, and a lot of people can get hurt. And so, and it says here, mental illness and disorders involving the mind and emotions have clear spiritual dimensions as well. And so it's not just a physical or mental topic or issue. This is a spiritual issue that pastors are dealing with on a daily basis. There is times, now I've never went into a real dark place of falling into sin because of this, but I know that there's been times in my life where maybe it's a day or two when I just be like, man, I just don't feel like it today. And it's a little bit of this trying to creep its way in. It's a deer trying to creep its way into my heart, into my mind. And this affects not just pastors and people in ministry, in vocational ministry, but it also affects people, Christians in general.
Volunteers.
Because volunteers. We can fall into this. So, and it says here, how sad is it when pastors or Christians who care for others live effectively in a spiritual desert with no pastor to care for them? Likewise, self-care is essential. We who take up the Savior's calling to tend the souls of others need to tend our own soul first. Acedia can be chronic or episodic. So it could be constant, happening all the time. And there's pastors even recently who have struggled with this recently down the coast, and I'm praying for them, and I'm believing that they can make a return to ministry again, because there's no moral things that have fallen into it. It's just constantly, it's just fatigue, I believe. And there's also people even locally that we've seen in the last couple of years struggle with this. Both your own spiritual care, self-care, and in the care you receive from your own soul's physician. So we're going to make sure we have pastors, people who are speaking into our life constantly, people who are checking on us and stuff like this. One thing I do whenever I speak to a pastor who's been a pastor for a longer time than me, I always ask them, what would you tell someone who's in my position, 4 years into full-time vocational ministry, like what would you tell someone like me, or what's some advice that you would give me? And I always ask that because I want them to speak into me what do they see that I need to address? Because there's always something. There's always something. So these are some warning signals. Ministry begins to lose, or church or being a Christian begins to lose its luster, and you find it harder and harder to rouse yourself to tend to the souls entrusted to you. You find it harder to serve. You find it harder to go to church. Or conversely, you might throw yourself into frenetic ministry to others just to avoid having to tend your own soul, since you've grown cold and numb to the things of God. So it's less about, you not wanting to be there, but it's like, all I want to do is be there because I don't want to deal with the problems I have at home. I don't want to deal with the problems I have in my heart, in my mind. And another one is you lose touch with both the art and craft of ministry, and you find yourself acting not out of your own pastoral habitus, but just going through the emotions and impersonating a pastor. So instead of you actually believing what you're doing and loving what you're doing, you're just showing up every Sunday. You would be just surprised to how many pastors actually do that.
Yeah.
They get to church on a Sunday and they put on an act. But when they're at home during the week with their kids and their wife, they're completely different people.
Different person.
Like, and this happens, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, there's another one. So ultimately, the word of God and prayer become more and more an official duty, what we were just speaking about, and less of a personal treasure.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's that last one is this. Acedia is not child's play. You got to get onto it. And so when you start feeling like you're entering in a place of acedia, of spiritual boredom, where you're in a place of staleness and dryness, I've been there before. The first thing I have to do, this is a practical way of how I do it, is I know I got to put something down.
Yeah.
First of all, I know I have to get some free time.
Yeah.
So I have to intentionally schedule out some time away from the ministry.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I might take a couple of days off. I might schedule in a holiday or something like that with my family.
You have social media?
Get off social media, right? Just some, so for me personally, even with this social media thing that I'm doing now, I don't want to keep bringing it up because I want to be that guy who always just does that, right? That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to use this as maybe to help somebody. For me, it's just, I'm going to be scheduling this in commonly probably once a year because I want to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I want to do this so it's an intentional thing. It's scheduled into my calendar every year so that people know, not just people know actually, God knows that I'm putting that time aside, and I know like, okay, just so that this isn't another way that can creep in, or this is another way, just so I can do these things, because we have to put these things in place. And Pastor Sean's taught me this, is you got to intentionally do it consistently with discipline. You got to put these things in place if you want longevity, if you want to be around for a while. Honestly, I think one thing we need to do is get some free time. Put something down, right? You could be put down a ministry. You could be putting down a responsibility, putting down a role, put it down for a while and get some free time and use that free time, not just to rest and rejuvenate, but also to rest in the Lord, to make sure that you're getting yourself back on track, to open up your word, not just just to get a message, open up your word so you can genuinely have an encounter with God. Prayer is so important. In my opinion, as a Christian, when we feel like we're going through a stale point in life, we need to pray.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, I don't feel like praying. I'm serious. I don't feel like praying. When I'm driving in my car, what I'll do is, and that's my prayer place, is in my car. What I'll do is I'll just pray in tongues. Yeah. Because I'll force myself to. Because then eventually, once I'm praying in tongues, all of a sudden, then I start speaking normally again. Yes. And I start praying and I start interceding because I'm forcing myself to. Because the Bible says that the praying in of tongues is actually building up oneself. You're building up yourself, and then prophesying is for building up the church. Yes. When you're building up yourself, you're building up your inner man so they can come out and so it can flow and it can manifest itself in a spiritual way in your everyday life. Yeah. So it's important to make sure that we are praying, spending time in God's word. And then the last thing is this. I am intentional with conferences. Yeah. People can have their opinions on this. I don't mind. But this is my opinion. This is my experience. I have 3 conferences booked in next year in 2026 already that I'm going to, and some of them are interstate. The reason why I do that is because I know that I need to go and be fed. Yes. That doesn't mean I'm not being fed by my pastors here, but what I'm doing is I'm going to these other atmosphere, these other environments for inspiration. Yes. For a moment of time with God. Yeah. And so I can go and be a part of something. There's also networking and stuff like this. Yeah. But for me, that's not my main goal when I go to these things. My main goal is really spiritual and stuff like that. So I'm really intentional with that as well. Some people will say you need to go to way more conferences than that a year. But that's just where I'm at right now until the financial opportunities arise where I can do that. But right now, that's where I'm at. And I believe that this whole story about this man, Pastor Sam, and Pastor Tony, his wife, all of this stems from acedia. Yeah. And a lack of spiritual zeal and passion.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of spiritual boredom.
Yes.
And pastors fall into this way too easily because we have to do a lot as pastors. Let me just talk to, I don't even know if I'm talking to any pastors right now, but maybe I'm talking to people who are future or aspiring pastors right now, or maybe some pastors. I would say this, if there's anyone there, we have a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I've seen the other side of it.
Right.
They have a lot to deal with.
So we have the financial, we have the home life, we have the church life, we have the people, everything stacked up on top of each other. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But we're called for it.
Yes.
And if you're called for it, like I struggle with this, I struggled with this probably my first few years of being a youth pastor. I would call my dad up on a Friday night after a hard night because you actually have more problems with the leaders than you do the kids. And I was driving back on, and Pastor Josiah knows this too. He always tells me, he reminds me.
Yeah.
I was driving back on a Friday night. I probably did this every week for the first few years. I don't really do it as much anymore because I'm sort of used to it. But I'll be calling back. I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, man, I'm done. I don't know if I can do this anymore, Dad. Like I'm done. Like this isn't for me. Like I can't deal with this anymore. My health is, I don't feel good. Stuff like this. I just using excuses, but I was just done.
Yeah.
And I'll do this probably, every Friday night, and my dad would just be like, "Son, you're called.
Yeah.
You're called." And my dad's my pastor, so. He says, you're called. And I just shut up from then on, you know what I mean? And I just have to just suck it up. But, 2 years later, 3 years later, now I'm sitting here, I'm going, man, like that was nothing.
Yeah.
But also not just that it was nothing, but like I'm so grateful for those moments because it was a reminder that when you're called, you're called.
Yeah.
I was speaking to somebody maybe a couple of weeks ago, and they were trying to figure out what they want to do in their future, and they're called to ministry. They're a pastor, and they're like, look, we don't like. What's your opinion? They sort of asked our opinion, and we were like, look, you're called.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're called, and it doesn't matter about financial opportunities. Doesn't matter all these other things. When you're called, and you got to go with what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's the only place you're going to be happy, because when you're feeling that fulfillment of doing what God's called you to do. So it's hard, man. But I think all of this that we're seeing that comes out from Pastor Sam and Pastor Tony is all stuff, regarding spiritual boredom and a lack, and just spiritual apathy, that a lack of a love of God.
Yeah.
And, that's where they end up. And even here it says, just to go back on his history, because there's a few things that popped up in the past that maybe we should be addressing, because not only is this a lack of spiritual, this is spiritual boredom within Pastor Sam's life, or I'm not attacking anyone, but maybe in his life, but also maybe there needed to be some accountability earlier on, right?
Yeah.
So previously Sam pastored at Hillsong Atlanta, now Story Church, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And was a contractor for Andy Stanley's North Point Ministries. Wow, Andy Stanley, he's a great pastor. Despite the controversy, Sam was reordained in September 2025.
Absolutely crazy.
So this is where we're at now, okay? Yeah. By Christian Cultural Center leaders, A.R. Bernard and Jamal Bernard. He continues to lead a church branch in Atlanta.
That's crazy.
Believing he's still called by God to pastor.
That's crazy. I mean, I still think he's probably called, but I just wouldn't. I don't know about pastoring. I wouldn't want to be under him.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't be. Like Ed's little note here on the notes says I wouldn't be getting marriage advice from Sam. Pastor Sam isn't watching this, so we haven't got to worry about him contacting us. But I would probably say that
fruit. What's his fruit?
Yeah,
we judge him by the fruit.
We got to do the fruit assessment.
Look at his fruit. Look at what the fruit of this marriage he's gone through has caused him, his wife, his churches, his ministries. And now we're seeing a fruit of, okay, he's been forgiven. Great, which fine. I think we should forgive. I think there should be a process of forgiveness. And now he's been reordained. That's crazy to me.
I think we got to do a fruit assessment.
Yeah.
And as you just said, because we will know them by their fruit, the Bible says. And so for me, okay, even if these allegations are false, which if he's been reordained, there's got to be, he's probably saying that, right? Yeah. And there's probably people around him saying that, whoever ordained him. So they're probably seeing this as false accusations. This is all just, back and forth, he said, she said, he's being divorced. There's a lot of lies being thrown around, whatever, right? And that's what they're probably saying. And look, that could be true. Or it could be true the other way. I don't know what it is. I couldn't care less, to be honest. But I will say this. Even if these allegations are false, and even if he didn't do any of those things, the fact that this divorce is happening and there's all this stuff being thrown out, the fact that there was other allegations that came out as well about him doing other things with employees and stuff.
Even going back on his word.
Yeah, going back on his word. And then
actually, maybe I did fail a little bit.
Him retracting and stuff like this. The fact that there's so much noise around this shows to me that's also fruit. And so there just needs to be an accountability, and I'm praying that he is being held accountable. But all I would say that what we can learn from this story is get away from spiritual boredom.
Yes.
And we have to watch out for acedia in our life, where there is a lack of passion and zeal for the things of God, which ultimately hurts the people around you. If you're a husband, you're a father, this is going to hurt your family. If you're a wife or a mother, this is going to hurt your family. If you're just a boss or employee or a worker, it's going to affect everything in your life. Like, it's going to affect your relationships, everything. We got to get away from it. And this is a thing that can really destroy lives. And so we have to be on top of it. So if we can get anything from this story, is not an attack on Sam or Tony or any of the pastors or any of the churches, but it would be an attack of spiritual boredom.
Yeah.
It would be an attack of holding ourselves accountable. It would be an attack of, we got to really get on top of our personal relationships. We got to make sure that our personal relationships with God are first and foremost in the front of mind, and not mixing our ministry within our relationship with God, not mixing any of these things, and getting our priorities straight. We got to get our priorities straight as Christian men, as Christian women. We got to get our priorities straight. We got to make sure we have these things in place, because this is what happens when they're not.
Yeah. People
get hurt. People's reputations are on the line. This pastor, yes, he's in pastor in other ministries, good on him, right? And good on her too. But this is what happens when spiritual boredom sets in.
Yeah.
And we got to get on top of that. So something that I'm always looking at, and I pray the Lord that I continue, that's my goal in life, is not to grow a big ministry.
Yeah.
It's to do what God says, and it's to obey him. That's my goal. And so we don't base our success off size of numbers and money and fame and stuff like that, but we base our success off obedience. But hopefully that encourages somebody. If it did, I don't know if it did, but hopefully encourages somebody to go, you know what? What's the more important thing in my life?
Yeah.
It's really just making sure your relationship with God you're addressing that, because if you're not, you're going to experience acedia. You're going to experience spiritual boredom. You're going to experience a lack of self-care, a lack of self-love. And then that affects love in every other way. So we'll be praying for you. And if you were discouraged by that story or any of the other stories, we pray that hopefully we could have encouraged you about it. So, but episode 14. Done and dusted. Thank you guys for watching. 100 subs on YouTube. On the way, road to 200.
Road to 200.
On Instagram. And Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
So, subscribe, hit the notification?
Turn the notification bell on.
Turn it on.
All. Come on. Come on, don't miss anything.
Yes.
As soon as we upload, you'll get a little ding and you can watch it, smash the like on it.
And we got chapters as well. So if you want to show people clips or whatever it might be, you can always jump around yourself. If you want to rewatch some parts of this podcast, you can do that through the chapters below. You
want to skip our opening banter? You can
you want to skip the trash jokes we have.
The 6-7.
The 6-7 jokes. Then you can skip and go through there. But we also have TikTok. Follow us on TikTok as well. We're always constantly posting clips. So if you're during the week, the whole point of More Than Sunday was that we want to encourage people more than just on a Sunday. We want to encourage people to have faith more than just on a Sunday, and to encourage people through the week. So from Monday to Sunday, we want God we want you to build some sort of content and watch some sort of content that is encouraging you. So do that on TikTok as well, because we have plenty of clips on there. So I think where we are, over 100 on TikTok too, right?
Like what, clips?
No, over 100
followers. Over 100 followers on
road
TikTok.
to 200.
Come on Instagram.
Road to 200. Come on Instagram, bro. Get us to 100. So it's encouraging. But episode 14, all done and dusted. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Episode 15.
Episode 15. and we're still going to be consistent throughout this Christmas holiday period. So make sure you guys stay updated, and thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
We'll see you on episode 15, but it's been great. Thank you, and see you soon.